Rank Guide Border. There are subtitles in the bottom and timestamps for each bomb site. The first objective that will be defending is Armory and Lockers, and you can expect next three kind of pushes from attackers. A direct CCTV or Lockers push, which includes the vertical push from the Workshop and Ventilation. A split office CCTV take, and the final one is a heavy office push. Locker push is a very favorable push in ranked, whereas the office push is usually a standard push in the Pro League. With that being said, a bit more advanced hold will be playing in the office by the sandwich with an ADS, with the hand of a player in the fontaine. Let's go to the basics of the ranked threat. Recommended operator is Mira. With Mira you are forcing attackers to play vertically on you. Place one Mira window by the cubby on the south wall, and the other Mira can be either by the Archives south wall or the fontaine wall. In the lower rank, I would say gold or lower, you will be better off with the Archives south Mira as you need less reinforcement to do the work. However, if you can ask your teammate to reinforce the other 3 fontaine walls, rather go with the fontaine one. Let's go immediately for the reinforcements. 2 basic locker walls, blocking entrance from attackers, especially powerful if bandit or kite tricking. 1 wall for the Mira window. 2 walls pointing office from Archives, again denying the line of sight towards the objective. 1 more by the Mira window, and the last 4 are by 90. These 2 are there as attackers could hold an angle under the rotation of both sides from outside of the break room, which is something obviously that you do not want to happen. The other 2 are there so you can safer flank from the east stairs and long hallway, as attackers won't be able to watch the flank from the CCTV. Let's talk about the barbed wires. You will need them by the locker's entrance to slow down the locker's push. By the entrance of lockers from short, and 1 by the middle stairs. Both are there to stop the rush pushes through the main stairs and for the sound information, if you are being attacked from the other side. You will need 1 by the fontaine, and that is 4. This one is especially powerful if you have a Mira window in the fontaine. It can also be a solid barbed wire if defenders are going to play in the fontaine. Place 2 more by the Archives doors and windows, for obvious reasons, denying their entrance towards the objective. For the vertical line of sights, I won't be talking about them in this video. I will make a special video for every map defender's vertical line of sights, as they require a fine amount of game experience. Open up the top of the north lockers and Archives doors so you can throw a C4 or smoke babe onto the Archives default plant spot. There are several anchor spots, first one being a very important one, which is hot desk. You might want to open these 2 vertical holes so you can pretty much deny the vertical pressure onto you. You will need an ADS as this is a common anchor spot to play, and with this spot you are not letting attackers to get into the lockers. This position is extremely important to hold as much as possible if playing without Mira. The next anchor spot can be by the bomb or by the locker sandwich. Both are needed if you lose the hot desk position. Be aware of the vertical plates as well as the middle window. The next spot is Kaosx. This is another standard spot to be as defender as you're safe here. Cannot be killed if crouched, and unless being pushed from the Archive south or lockers. The metal cover is solid. Very strong position to hold both sides, Archives and Lockers. Obviously, you can play behind the Mira window in the cubby or behind the Mira window in the Archives, but you will need an ADS in the Archives as you can be easily naded from the north window. The north window is very deadly as it cuts your objective in half, so expect an attacker to play there. Sometimes, attackers will lack of numbers and won't be able to play by the north window. Then you can have a very strong position on the Archives locker. Do not overpeak the office window, as in Platinum and higher games the spot is usually pre-fired. However, you can have an off angle onto the office double door, pretty much whole office, and you could quick peek the office window. Again, usually it is not recommended to hold an angle onto the office window. This spot is extremely powerful on late rounds and if you have a person in the fontaine. And finally, you can vault through this. The next one to defend is Workshop and Ventilation, which is usually attacked from the lockers, and then attackers from the lockers clear out ventilation. Put a person to cover rotation towards ventilation, and the round is pretty much over. Another attack could be done if pushed horizontally from waiting and tellers. However, that is a bit more advanced. Expect a vertical push from attackers. An advanced hold will be defending Workshop and Ventilation with an extended hold all the way towards the customs, playing offside so in that way, their vertical push won't do a lot to your team. Having this in mind, recommended operators are Echo or Smoke and Legion. Legion is primarily picked to slow down their top floor push, so they have less time to actually go for the execution, whereas Smoke and Echo were picked to deny the ventilation push from afar. For the reinforcements, you will want to fully reinforce toilets and reinforce the second north wall between Workshop and Ventilation. This reinforcement allows you to easier deny the plant. We will get onto that a bit later. Other fire reinforcements are off-site, usually put to deny the locker's push, so you will need 2 walls in the common locker's wall and you will definitely need a reinforcement over here. The reason of the need of the reinforcement over here is to cut any line of sight from the office balcony all the way towards the hall desk. This is a very strong angle for attackers. You are left with 2 reinforcements. They depend on your team. Barbed wires, won by the ventilation windows to slow down their vault in and positioning to plant. That way, if you have broad smoke, there is a high chance that you will kill him with a smoke bait. 2 by the lobby to stop their rushes and push inside the ventilation and workshop. And the final one to block the objective from the main hallway by the workshop. You will need a rotation between sides, the north workshop wall facing ventilation, and you will need a leg level line of sight by the same walls, so you make most of the plant spots deniable. Open up the top part of this wall so you can throw a smoke bay from this desk. And the final subject, anchor spots, there are not many. You can play behind this solid cover. Over here, or on the top of this desk. Be aware if your opponents open up the toilet wall, as the spots are deniable from there. You can play behind the reinforcement or on the top of the desk. All the anchor spots are vulnerable from the top. That is why it's better off playing with 3 people on the top and 2 at the basement. For our third defend, both of the objectives require a good communication. If Solo or DuoQ, I would rather go to Tellers&Toilet, as you are not required to go with the Mira as much as you are in the customs. When defending Tellers, you can expect an office take and then execution by the Tellers window. Pretty much both defense will be somewhat advanced, as they really require a team coordination. Recommended operators are Jaeger and Bandit. Jaeger is especially powerful against the roof grenade under the sandwich position inside the office, whereas Bandit is solely picked to bandage the triple office walls. Having said this, you will need to reinforce, aside from the 3 office walls, a wall by the sandwich position, so your plane there is more secure. Want to cut the angle from the lockers towards the office, and the reverse by the archives wall. The last 2 top walls are in the fontaine pointing short. The hallway up to the main stairs on the top. This wall is also very important to have into the control, as the office hall will easily collapse if attackers open up the fontaine exterior walls. We are left with 3 reinforcements, which are supposed to be placed in the toilet, so you can play at least with 1 person in the toilet. Let's talk about barbed wires, one by the office window so you're forcing the attacker destroying it before pushing the office from the window, One can be located in between archives and lockers, for the similar reason as the office one, stalling the attackers to get into the office. As you will be playing in a fontaine with the barbed wire, you will easier prefer any attackers being on the barbed wire in archives. Reason of not putting it in the door in between fontaine and archives is that once attackers get to the south part of the archives, you can no longer play in the fontaine. Therefore, the barbed wire is kinda useless. Place one by the waiting double doors and custom double doors for the same reasons. Sound information is being pushed from these sides. For the rotations, there are none required. Open up the office hatch and have a vertical angle onto the default planned spot. For the anchor spots, it is recommended to play with just one person, preferably smoke if you have one, in the toilet. He can with the shotgun slow down the workshop push if it is happening, and he can smoke out the default planned spot. Speaking of the workshop push, you can open up Archives hatch, so in that way, you're forcing attackers clearing the top floor instead of just rushing through the workshop. You can play by the sandwich in the office. You will need an ADS over here, as you can be easily naded from the top. It is recommended to play by the fontaine wall as well. The final bomb side is Customs&Supply, and you can expect a customs push from above and the supply push once attackers get into the CCTV. This side is extremely easier to defend with a Mira window, but you still require communication and people that know how to play on this side. So, as I mentioned, Mira is definitely a recommended or even a must pick over here. The other operator can be Smoke. You will need a Mira window in the customs watching long and short, as well as the entrance of the break room. This Mira window is essential for the defend, makes the less viable side to defend a bit more viable, as the customs attack will be way harder to do so. The other Mira could be put by the customs, so you can have 2 extra reinforcements to place. Smoke is primarily picked to deny any push from the relatively safe place. We will get more into that in the anchor spots. With all this in mind, you will need to reinforce 2 of the customs wall. On the left, there is a Mira window. Due to the Mira window, you can have 2 extra reinforcements to spare on. You will need one in the supply corridor as well as the exterior supply walls. The exterior walls are denying attackers to get into the customs as quick, and the corridor ones allows you to have additional anchor spot. You will need to reinforce these 2 walls so you do not get rushed from the lobby inside of the supply. We are left with 3 reinforcements for the top. Reinforce the Mira window wall, and you can use anywhere the other 2 walls. Where to put barbed wires? You could use one outside of the CCTV, as then they will have harder time pressuring you from the CCTV door. Put one by the break room door, so you have easier time denying their push from the Mira window. Put one by the middle of the main stair, so you do not get rushed from there on the top. You will need one by the customs door. Talking about the doors, barricade the waiting double doors and custom double doors pointing main stairs, so you can play in customs depending on which barricade is still up there. You're putting them there mostly for the sound information. You will need a rotation between CCTV and 90, so you can retreat from the CCTV if problems. You can open up both CCTV hatches so you can play vertically onto the objectives. Talking about the verticality, you need to open here a hole to deny the default planned spot. It is also recommended to open up fontaine walls, as in that way you can deny with the Mira window office push. You can also open up this part of the wall to see the break room door. You will need to open leg level line of sight towards the supply to obviously see if there is plant happening, but you will most likely be smoked, and you need to open up a bit higher than a bottom level line of sight so you can throw smoke babes onto the default plant spots. Anchor spots can be found in the supply corridor. Be aware if attackers are opening the exterior supply walls. The next 2 spots are situational, depending on what the kind of push our attackers doing. You obviously can play behind the Mira windows. And one more spot that is good when defending CCTV is behind the TVs. All the anchor spots can be denied from CCTV and break. Be aware of that. That's it. Support me by subscribing, clicking the notification bell, and liking the video. Don't forget to join the Discord server. With this being said, peace out.